Okay, so this section again has to do with the first step in the troubleshooting process, the name, reframe, and claim portion of this planning process. The first thing to do is name the challenge. And this is where it's kind of fun and exciting to think about it. So when we have a challenge in life or in school, uh, it's really common practice and human nature to lay the problem at somebody else's feet. So the examples that I have on this particular slide are the students don't know what to do. That's the student's problem. Shannon failed the test. That's Shannon's problem. And staff refused to attend the training. That's the staff's problem. So when we name the problem, it's common to frame it as the responsibility of another party. And for this particular section, we're going to say, okay, we will give ourselves permission to name the challenge in this way. The second step, though, is to reframe it. And reframing asks the question, why do I think this problem is occurring? The cool thing about reframing is that I was talking about the medical model of disability in an earlier recording, and this takes the reframing process takes the medical model out of the picture. It says we think that the barrier is in the environment or in the instruction and not in the person. So it makes whatever we're thinking about actionable immediately. So instead of saying the students don't know what to do or the students didn't know what to do, we can change it and reframe it to, it sounds like maybe the directions were not presented in a way that makes sense, or that was important to the students. So that's one example of reframing, and we'll go through some others. And then the third step is to claim the challenge or problem. And when we do this, we answer the question, what can I do to remove the barrier? So this is, if you haven't done it already, this is a step where you might identify which principle, either engagement, representation, or action and expression that you think is going to be a play. And the UDL guidelines can be a way to generate possible or potential solutions. So I made up a sentence frame for this. If the barrier is blank, if it's engagement, then I could try blank. If the barrier is representation, then I could try blank. And what I've done here is I put these words here so you can choose one of those. And then right here is that QR code for the interactive UDL guidelines. And another way to say this, and this will come up when we do our prompting session, is I can try or I can. And those are some of the things that we can do. So to get a different view of this same process, this next slide has some examples. So naming the problem, that's when it's my problem or their problem, your problem. Not my problem, it's your problem. It's Amber's problem when she disrupts the class by yelling, boring. And we can reframe that by saying, it sounds like Amber's not finding the learning activities to be interesting, engaging, or meaningful. And again, when I hear that word engaging, then I immediately think engagement. So what can I do to remove the barrier? I can help students make connections between things they care about and the content. And that has to do with engagement. Another example, Harriet didn't know what to do during seat work today. Well, that's clearly Harriet's problem. Let's reframe it and take the problem out of Harriet. We can say, it sounds like Harriet may have forgotten the instructions, or maybe she didn't hear them or process them sufficiently. And that is an actionable statement. What can I do? I can provide directions in both spoken and written formats. And that may or may not work, but it's something I can try. Then obviously you're going to reflect and adjust after you try each thing. I often think of teaching as like the scientific process where you make an observation and an hypothesis, and then you wiggle the variables and see what happens. So these are some examples of naming, reframing, and claiming. Alternatively, I have also created early childhood examples. I've created science examples, leadership examples, CTE examples. So I'll take you through, and this is that same table that you just saw, this table right here, but it's just one row of that table. So here's an early childhood example for name, reframe, and claim. Name. Leo won't participate in group activities. Well, that is clearly Leo's problem. Let's reframe it and say that it sounds like Leo needs more support with executive function skills and predictability in his daily routine. So what can I do? I can use visual schedules and transition songs. I can provide advanced warnings before transitions. Hey, everybody, 2 minutes till the recess bell rings. We can create transition games for students to play, or we can offer a special job. Those all sound like good things to try with Leo. Here's a high school science example. Maria's group always finishes the experiments last. Again, laying the problem at Maria's feet. Let's reframe it. Sounds like the group might need support with time management and clearer procedural guidance. So what can I do? I can create visual timelines for experiments. I can provide specific jobs for people who are working on projects together. I can break things down into smaller steps. I could provide video demonstrations, use timer tools and progress checks. Those are all things I could try. So there's a high school science example. Here's a leadership example. Attendance rates are declining in certain student populations. Yeah, so attendance rates are down. Thinking about what might be the barrier, it sounds like there might be systematic barriers or cultural disconnects affecting student engagement and access. So what could I try? I could conduct community listening sessions, review and revise attendance policies, create culturally responsive system supports, and so forth and so on. And finally, a CTE example. Team 3's welding projects consistently miss quality standards. Sounds like the team might need more structured guidance or clear quality indicators. I could create visual quality checkpoints, provide sample pieces, use video modeling. I could have students review together, and I could break down complex welds into component skills. So those are some examples of name, reframe, and claim. And what we're going to do is we're going to take the precision prompting content and we're going to apply it to this process. So pay attention to name, reframe. It sounds like claim I can. Those are some things that are going to come up in the next piece.